just a good old boy.
Hey y'all, hold on just a second. Get this thing moving, and then I'll talk to y'all. Obviously, as y'all can tell if you can see behind me, I'm spreading fertilizer. Late, very late for us. Normally I do this and put fertilizer out in late February, early March, and it is not April. Is it April? Yes, today is April 1st. So yeah, I'm spreading fertilizer on April 1st, where I should have had this out a month ago. It just hasn't worked out this year. Everything's been behind for us. The weather's been good to do it. We've had plenty of good weather to do what we need to do. I haven't been able to spray anything either, but we have been kind of in a whirlwind of a mess that's put us behind this year. We lost quite a bit. Our hay ground has been okay. I'll start there. We'll start with the good and we'll get to the bad. How about that? The hay ground has been okay. We actually picked up a few pieces. My total acreage that I'm going to be baling for the year has went down. And the reason why is because a lot of the people that I was baling custom hay for have decided to not do that anymore. And they want to not even fool with it. They have given me some of their fields, so I'm still going to be baling those fields, and they've decided to just buy the hay from me and let me bale the hay off of it and give me the field. So it's worked out to benefit us in that way, but the total acreage that we're going to go over has dropped maybe a little bit. I did cull a couple of the fields that we had off that were really rough, and that you could not, they were basically really rough and they were not profitable fields. I culled, I think it was 2 off, and we gained 1, 2, I want to say we gained 3. One of the fields is a pretty good sized field, to be honest, and it's a good field too. I've been baling for the gentleman that's decided to give it up. I'm still going to be doing custom hay for him, but he is downsizing his hay ground because he lessened the amount of cows that he had, because the way the markets are, he's older, he just don't want to deal with it anymore. So he decided he ain't gonna have as many cows, so he don't need as much hay, and he doesn't need necessarily that much hay ground. So we took it on, and it's a good field. And I've got a couple others that I took on besides it that are good fields. I might be down. One field is up in the air. It's up for sale right now. I don't know what's going to happen with it. We've got cows on it and doing hay on it. The bad part is it's one of the farms that I store a lot of my square bales on and stuff, so I'm going to be losing hay storage too. So that one's kind of up in the air. I don't really know what's going to happen with it right now. The biggest thing I'm scrambling with is hay storage more than anything than that, because there's not a lot of acreage there. The biggest benefit really to me to the whole place was just the hay storage I had. It had multiple chicken houses on it that I could use. It's not the chicken houses that y'all always see in the videos. I've never showed these chicken houses. There was several chicken houses on this property that I used to store hay in. It was typically where I kept my square bales, and that was why I never really showed it on camera, because I didn't want anybody knowing where they was at. It was just a holding place that I would keep them, and I'd transfer them back to home when we get low there, or I'd load trucks out of there to do large deliveries. And that's pretty well the hay ground. So we did pretty good on the hay ground this spring. It's been okay. Cow pastures, not so much. We are kind of have been in a mess with that all spring. I personally have been flipping out over that one, because it was just a tornado of events, I guess you could say is the best way to describe it for me, that all compiled into one. I had one landlord of mine that I rented a farm from over 15 years passed away. The family had decided that they wanted the cows off, and that they were trying to figure out what they were going to do as far as dividing it up. And they told me that I was going to have to be out. And I was scrambling trying to find somewhere to put the cows. Then the other farm that I had leased on my own, separate from the family farm and their business and everything that we're all tied into, that I was just doing by myself, for me and my wife. The person that had owned it passed away a couple years ago. Well, his son has been a good landlord to me and everything, and they give me plenty of time to get out and the whole deal. They had sold their home place that where he was living at, and they're moving back to the farm that I had leased and going to build them a house there and live there. So I had to get out of there too. That farm I'm out of. The other farm that I thought I was losing, they called and told me as of right now that the way it looks, they're just going to let me keep leasing it for another year. And they're not going to do anything with it for the next year, that I could leave the cows there if I wanted, if I hadn't found nowhere to take them. And I took that up in a heartbeat, just to leave them there. So as of right now, as far as I know, the cows will be staying on that farm. My dad, on the other hand, had a very large tract of land. Our second largest tract of land that we lease was sold, that had cattle on it, and it is going to be developed into residential homeland. And we've got a little time before we have to be out of there. And that one's definitely thrown a major burden on the whole farm. It is definitely put us in a kind of a financial blunder right now. So we're looking for ground to lease for cows. The cattle are still a very vital part of this farm, and without them it's going to be, I don't know what we're going to do. I've been trying to find some other jobs to do. Y'all are going to see, or probably, well, y'all have already seen the grading job. I've been doing stuff like that, trying to make some extra money there, here and there, trying to get something started doing that kind of stuff to try to plan for the future. If we need to lean on something like that, I can, because it's getting harder and harder to find farmland around here, and you cannot buy it and be profitable at all. You will go bankrupt. The land values are worth more than you could ever get off of it farming it and pay it off. You'll never get that kind of out of it. So it's been tough. It's been a wild spring due to the cow side of it, and it has not been fun to say the least. So I'm hoping that things have kind of normalized for a little while. Maybe we can find some more ground to lease before we have to be out of that large farm that we've got, to try to make up for it. If I got to lease 4 or 5 different small places, that's what I'll do. But I need to try to get those cows put somewhere. And right now it's been tough. There's nowhere really to lease any land. If there's any land out there, people are selling their cows off of it and selling the land. and they're just done because the cows are worthless and they are done. And that's just the long and the short of it. And this is nothing new. It's been going on for a long time around here, but something I deal with all the time that I never talk about. There's no such thing as a long-term lease around here anymore. I mean, you rent land by the year, and you can be out at any time if the land sells, and you cannot get a long-term lease deal signed out. None of that crap. You forget it. It's not going to happen. Those properties just do not exist anymore. As the older generation passes away, the kids want to sell the land, get their money, and retire. They're older by the time their parents die, and they just want to be done. And they want to go sit on a beach somewhere, or just not have to worry about if I've got enough money to pay my bills anymore. And that's pretty well the way it's been around here for the past 15 years, I guess. And it's getting harder and harder every year, but we're still kicking. As long as I can keep doing this, I'm gonna keep doing it. I have not put out a whole lot of videos lately. I've just had a whirlwind of things going on, trying to get everything straightened out here at home, and my concentration has been somewhere else besides making videos, because I gotta take care of home life first, and then when there's extra time to worry about stuff and do other things, I can do YouTube. That's kind of the way it's been. I haven't worked on hardly any machinery other than the few videos y'all have seen yet, because quite honestly I've been dealing with all that and trying to figure something out for us. So that's pretty well the way our springs went so far. But we are behind them. But it's good to be in the tractors. It feels great to be in these tractors and out here in the field doing preparation work for hay season and trying to get everything the way it needs to be. Because quite honestly, when you ride around these tractors, to me it's good therapy. Just sitting here and just ride and get your mind off of everything else and focus on following a GPS line where you need to go to put fertilizer out.